This is Kaz, and he just got done playing the #1 ranked from Season 1, Cult HAVOK. And in today's video, we're going to break down his video against HAVOK and learn how can we get better at our own gameplay. We're not only going to find the mistakes in our gameplay, but we're also going to find the solutions. It's going to be a good video, lot to learn, stick till the end, and if you are interested in coaching, check it out in the description below. All right, let's hop right in. We have the gameplay pulled up, and shout out once again to Kaz and Obsidian, aka Tango. Hope you guys are doing well, but let's go ahead, hop into this rewind hardpoint against Cult HAVOK. Again, we're going to look at the good, we're going to look at the bad, and we're going to look at the ugly. Hopefully this does help us moving forward into Black Ops 7, which if you guys are interested in coaching, definitely check it out. I see right here, you're expecting for an enemy to push out and hit L right here. So you're holding your knife out. Good play, but we want to make sure that we have a timing where we're all basically attacking at the same time. So we should be out of this doorway already shooting and looking for the trade against HAVOK. Now, it is surprising that the enemies didn't hop on the hard point, so your decision to go for the spawns here is actually fantastic, which there's HAVOK right there playing for those spawns. If we're curious to what HAVOK did for his breakoff, all he did was when he spawned in, he pushed all the way through, cut through hole in the wall, got a bunch of kills off stage in time, and then he pushed through laundry because laundry is the anchor position to guarantee the flip spawns. Now, obviously, because HAVOK is coming from this direction, his teammates will spawn at Burger if they died, and he's going to push through and pick up this lane since this is the only lane that we have yet to pick up. And as you also see it, it almost looks like as if we're spawning at 18-wheeler, so HAVOK is also breeding these spawns. What could we do next time in this situation? I would just sit there and say we can predict HAVOK to go for this play next time, so what would be better is just go wide. If we literally just go wide right here, we now have a longer range gunfight. If he has his knife out, we should win it. And then after you get that kill, you could then go towards laundry, or maybe even stage and try to kill the players off time. We spawn up at the 18-wheeler side and we get 2 dead, so you can make an attempt to go for spawns here. Our teammates actually get 3 dead. You get a great timing against HAVOK right here. That's 4 dead. We get the spawn flip, and now we should know that these enemies are going to be spawning at SWAT van, and all you need to do, Kaz, is just hold the right lane, which you're playing it a little bit more confident and aggressive, which is totally fine, but understand that every single second we see that there's 20 to 15 seconds left of old, we should start playing for new. Therefore, you could have just stayed rotated, especially since there's actually 13 seconds left. It's better if you sit in this corner, which this corner is predictable. This is considered a day 1 spot. A lot of people will read this. So if not this corner, then you could play in the opposite corner over here. Less people tend to read this. You could play on the car head glitch and sit on the green container and look for extra kills. You could have also, switched over to an AR and maintain your distance at the cop car or at the dumpsters. But no matter what, just understand that when we get into this rotation, we can always just let the game come to us. Let the game be super simple. 20 seconds left. I'm going to new. I'm going to be on a head glitch, or I'm going to be in a corner playing for a guaranteed kill. Now, thankfully, your teammates do get the rotation. You do pick up the left lane. This is great plays. But once you realize that you don't have any info left lane, you have to be close and support the hill. Thankfully, beautiful 3-piece out of Tango, or 2-piece out of Tango. Good work. You're here for the final trades. Nice, easy kills. This is where now, after these kills, you would want to go laundry, but hey, you're picking up the left lane. That's what's most important. Always picking up these lanes. You do get a bad timing against HAVOK. And again, this is where you can rely on this kill feed for pacing. So let's look back at this. The first person that died was Chim. So we can expect the first player off spawn to be Chim or HAVOK. Therefore, when we get this kill and you look at your minimap, you could sit there and realize, okay, for Chim and HAVOK, if they spawned in and just headbutted front, they should already be here. But they're not here. Therefore, they're probably taking middle routes. Now, they could be laundry. That's why I was saying go laundry. And ideally, when you go laundry, you'll either get into the fight, get the info, or you'll actually see the opponents run across towards the back. And that's why I said going laundry here is way better. But the fact that you still pick up the left lane is excellent. Now just sit there and understand that we don't have any kills. We don't have any info front. We don't have any info laundry. Therefore, these enemies are hitting this lane. Therefore, we should just simply hold a pre-aim. Let the game come to us. Again, you can keep your distance. You can throw shoulders. You could maybe just sit in this corner since you need to heal up, and you can hold an off angle like this. You could try to push up and get the map control and get behind this desk or get behind this desk over here to play the close range fight. Again, let the game be as simple as possible. Let the game come to us and we're going to win these fights. You just got a bad timing. And again, with 30 seconds left, this is actually a huge amount of scrap time that we want to soak. Thankfully, our teammates win the final trades and the opponents actually just failed on hitting the point right here. So even though that was a little bit of an awkward, last 30 seconds of the hard point, we end up still getting all that time. And now you're going for the rotation. Beautiful work. Again, I always recommend go deep and all the way around to play for this guaranteed flip. But the fact that you're just here is what's most important. Good job getting to this cop car. You're holding down the new spawns for the team. You're looking over. Your teammates should spawn behind you. Great rotation here. Great job prioritizing the spawns. HAVOK right there, unfortunately gets through. How does he get through? Just looks like our teammate in the left lane really wasn't cutting middle that much. And then at the last second, your teammate does spawn out. Okay, we're switching back over. We have 3 dead. These enemies will be spawning literally across from us. So with 40 seconds left, I would actually recommend to just play the point here and play for these kills. Maybe you could have kept your AR out, went to the top drive-through and then shot over. That would have been a good play. But now with 30 seconds left, we do definitely want to focus on flipping these spawns. So great play here. We got 2 dead though. So we got 2 dead and your teammate is already in their base. At that point, I would say you could actually just hit the hard point. Because think about it this way. If we already have 2 dead, one of our teammates are in their spawn. We should spawn here no matter what. All of us are past the 50-yard line. So these enemies should spawn behind us. And there's only 1 enemy last alive. Or sorry, there's 2 enemies last alive. One of them are on the hard point. We can just go 3v1 him, guarantee the scrap time, know that the rest of the enemies are behind us. And look at that. Actually, the last 2 enemies are on the hard point. So everything that could have went perfect, except for us just not being on the hard point, going for those kills. Great job picking up this left lane. However, again, you could make this game a lot more simpler for you. You could, pull out the AR or just play this close range gunfight here. Pull out the AR, go to the cop car. You could play in this corner and play the off angle. You could play on the truck here. Instead, you're trying to play for a timing where you're trying to basically push through this, get to this cut here to look middle and to look front. But at the same time, we also have to look at our back, right? That's the only thing I'm worried about is an enemy getting through like this, which again, all of that would just be prevented if you literally just stayed back and held a pre-aim. But with 2 dead and the last 2 enemies on the hard point, you being in this position is actually paying off. So it's totally fine. You're in this position now. You're cutting all of middle in the right lane, which is fantastic. And then you get that timing. That is just some rough timing right there. I mean, I would say maybe look both ways before crossing the road, right? Like do a quick check middle here. If you don't see anything middle, then kill the rest of these enemies, because clearly those enemies did not expect you. So we could have played, safe right there. So really bad timing. I love the play, but maybe next time we just need to simply just look both ways before crossing the road. Look middle, make sure no one's there. Then you can go for that flank. But 2 dead, you're prioritizing the spawns. There's nothing wrong with this. I absolutely love this. Once again, 2 dead. The other 2 players will be spawning at Burger. They'll be pushing through. Looks like they're rotating and hitting the left route instead, but with 20 seconds left, that's a bad play. We should get this scrap time, but HAVOK just hits the front and pops a 3-piece, which, oh, and then we're not pushing into time here. So right here, he did lay down behind time. You probably just got a bad timing. You didn't see him. We'll just ignore that one. Rotated for P5, and now your teammate literally spawned right here, so he's going to be able to cut this entire side. The second that you see him spawn over here, what you should do is you should start looking for an enemy pinching you as well, just in case there was an enemy off old, or maybe there's an enemy hitting a weird route. Just instantly when you see your teammate spawn out, you would turn around, and you still probably die there. You don't give yourself enough time to react, but We just want to start implementing these good habits, especially before Black Ops 7 releases. Okay, we have 1 dead. You're going for this pinch. Surgical is picking up that pinch just how I told you should have. The enemy does it, so, you know, good play out of the enemy. 3 dead. We have no teammates. We need to just play our lives right now. So what you could do here is to play your life. I would literally just get to this box right here and just look to see if this enemy is pushing out laundry. If you don't see this enemy pushing out laundry, that means he's more than likely just going to be stage. And I honestly think he's just going to be stage unless for some reason he like runs away. I doubt he's going to run around. Maybe he could have stayed here and he's going to re-challenge. But I would say, like, out of all the possibilities, I would say definitely these are the 2 biggest possibilities. Of course, he could play his life and then re-challenge. So one of those 3 things are going to happen. Regardless, the whole point is if you're right here, you are setting yourself up to make sure that if he does push back, you can kill him. If he comes stage and he pushes out and he over-challenges, you can kill him. If someone over-challenges out of the hard point, you can kill them. And just the goal here is we're just trying to get 1 player dead. So then off of that kill, our teammates now are in a 4v3 with us. So we'll press play and see what happens here. But again, I'm assuming HAVOK right now was stage. I'm assuming that's HAVOK right there. Yeah, exactly. So right there, again, just looking at the minimap, predicting the pattern of what these pro players or what these high players will do is very important. Just memorize these patterns. Nice. Really good kill right there. That right there is one of the clips we had in the beginning. Literally just slammed him. You even said it. You said shit on HAVOK. Absolutely. You got to hype yourself up. You got to get that blood flowing. No one's going to believe in yourself to win except for you. So you got to give it your all. Right, once again, we're in a P1 rotation right here. And once again, when these enemies are on old, all they can do off of old is push out, or push out. Therefore, if we already control the new hard point, you can literally just chill right here. And if just by chilling right here, what will happen is this enemy will try to push out of L and you should get an easy kill. Even if this teammate didn't exist over here and this enemy pushed out, more than likely this enemy never checks this corner and you get an easy kill. Of course, in a perfect world, all of our teammates would have been rotated. We would have 1 teammate literally playing on the time, and then we would have a teammate sitting stage doing the exact same thing that you're doing right now. But it's solo queue ranked play. It's not going to happen. So you got to try to play as perfect as possible because your team won't, right? So right there, I think the best play would just be sitting in that corner, letting the enemies come to us. Again, you're finding yourself in a lot of positions where we actually control the hard point and the enemies have to push us, but we're just not taking advantage of that. Nice, beautiful shots right there. Again, you're in that anchor position. You did get here a little bit late, so there could be 1 enemy that spawned at P2 and he could be pushing laundry right now. So that's the only kill you have to look for. But I can guarantee that the player you just killed, Surgical Rage, he is definitely spawning out. Where's he spawning out? It looks like he'll be spawning out at probably SWAT van. There's HAVOK rotating all the way around looking for this kill. Again, he's just prioritizing the spawns, playing good discipline. But like I said, you already flipped him out, so you should have been fine. And just like that, the enemies push up, get a 2-piece, about to flip us out. Good job finessing your life. However, again, just sitting right here, realize that we had 2 red dots. And then when you only see 1 player here and you get this kill, we're still missing that red dot. And again, this red dot is either pushing out or he's pushing out like this. Therefore, we have to predict this. And again, with 20 seconds left of P1, you can play for new here. You did kind of get weak off of that guy on old, so you might lose the gunfight. But we want to, again, try to play as perfect, as fundamentally perfect as possible. But now we're in our first situation where we need to break the hard point. And as you see that gunfight right there, HAVOK literally just lets you run right into it. In solo queue, ranked play is the hardest things ever to pull off. So I would always recommend to be the player trying to go for a route. Now in this situation, you were not the player to go for a route. I actually love your play. We had 1 dead. Your teammate dies, so you go for the trade, and your teammates are pinching simultaneously. So I love the play that you did right there. You get a lucky timing. Thankfully, you win that gunfight. Beautiful 3 dead. We are missing HAVOK. HAVOK is in the back. Leave the hard point, play this trade. And I would say we need to move a little bit faster there. You have the great idea. Pre-fire. We have to pre-fire. Again, I would say all the way back to right here. 2 dead, 3 dead. We would sit there and already know that we're missing a player. He has to be in the back. You can usually assume the last player is always in the back or pinching. And right here, I wouldn't even go towards the hard point. I'd start running towards the dumpster and I'd be shooting him in his back right now. But I digress. I will say you actually did have a good reaction here, but definitely pre-firing this as you're sliding, that would help you win this gunfight for sure. Now, do our teammates win the trade? Hopefully we don't get 3-piece. We do win the trade, so we do get the scrap time. You need to pick up the left lane here. Again, with 20 seconds left, you could realize that we're missing the left lane, so you could push out the left lane. And then when you push out this left lane, this also sets you up for a rotation for new. And while you're playing on new, hopefully your teammates off of old will push through and flip and try to get new spawns. But again, playing solo queue, if you know that your teammates aren't going to go for the flip, you yourself can go for the flip. That's totally fine. You already did it in the last P3, which worked phenomenally. And I think you can do the exact same thing here. We got kill streaks. Not much you can do about that. Our teammate spawns in the back, which is huge. 2 of our teammates spawn in the back. Okay. Yeah, Surgical is just playing. Like, that right there is a good death. Surgical, I don't know what he's doing that close up into our base, but the fact that we died there and spawned closer, great play. Like, I'm happy we died there. However, that's where we're starting to black out. I don't know what we're doing now, because we have 1 dead. We have 2 dead. I know you don't see the kill feed, but we did get 2 dead there. Now you would sit here and realize that you're the only one on the hard point. You need to play this kill. You have to play this kill. I know that map control is important here, but we're down by 60 points. We have to play for this kill, and then hopefully we can start soaking up some time. And if we don't get any time, at least we'll make that back, hopefully in P4, the money hill. Thankfully, your teammate is rotating back to anchor. You're hitting this middle route right here, 1 dead. Right about now, with your teammates spawned in, we have to go. And yeah, we just waited a little too long. Our timings were off right there. Not only that, but you have to realize that as you're running across, you're getting shot at. You are literally getting shot at by 2 different people. They know you are here, so you have to like play this timing into your advantage. So what you could do is you do have a frag grenade, so you could frag grenade the hole in the wall. I don't think they're going to be laundry, but I do think that they're going to be hole in the wall. And when that frag grenade lands hole in the wall, you can then start working up for the middle kill here. And at that point, you would start finessing your life, you know, get the enemies weak, try to get them 1 shot. And then as you get them 1 shot, our teammates should be flying. Our teammates should be flying to try and break this point. But right here, you get this awkward timing where you're waiting for them to push, but then you're like, okay, they don't push. And then right as you push, they push. So right there, it really just comes down to timings and just being confident with our decisions. One big thing we can do moving forward is the second you just listen to your intuition and you have a decision, stick with it, follow through with it, and then we can work on it. Such as next time your intuition was telling you to just, you know, wait and look for a kill, you're kind of going to want to sit there and just wait for a kill even longer. But if you realize that it takes way too long for these enemies to hit or they never hit, then your new decision would be push and look for these kills. But here's the cool thing though. You literally got a beautiful 2-piece because you have that strat from the last P3 to P4. You did that same strat again and you got yourself a 2-piece. So that right there is a habit that keeps working, right? That's a pattern that keeps working. Double down on it. Keep doing it. Great work. Great work. At this point, we're just going to soak up some time. So I'm going to just skip through now. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and skip through. Looks like we did get pinch off time. Yep, so the enemies just did a great job of pinching off time. Now, I will say the worst thing you can do in the hardpoint, though, is try to look for kills. In hardpoint, your life is way more important. So after you get this first kill, I do like that you're trying to reposition. I would prefer you to either reposition to here, because your red dot was right here, right? If your red dot is right there, I want to see you reposition to either this corner. Maybe you can even reposition closer to the corner, reposition here. But the point is you want to make sure you never die. So when you do reposition, you're laying down, you're holding a preem, and you're not peeking. Even then, after you got this kill right here, you could just lay down right here, don't peek. Again, just try to survive as long as possible. just to try and set your teammates up, right? Because they're going to spawn in. Maybe you can get a timing. Just try to make the game simpler for us. You're still finessing your life middle. Again, you're playing a corner middle right here. You can play for the cuts at L. Your teammates do die, so you could close up to L, but instead you're waiting for your teammates to spawn in. Now, before you make this decision, if you can sit there and like quickly look at your minimap and realize that your teammates spawned out, this should push you over here. Or this should indicate that you should take this route over here to pinch the enemies, because by the time you get here should be the exact same time that this teammate gets to here as the exact same time these teammates get to here. So again, try to quickly look at your minimap, realize that yes, we are all dead, so you need to take a route. And if you were behind the enemies, ideally we're attacking from all sides. We're making it hard for the enemies to win. You just slammed HAVOK. Great win. Easy 2-piece. And you're pushing out after that nice 2, but we need to play the time here. So once you heal up, you would play the time, but we get 3. And I just realized that your teammate actually disconnected right there in the kill feed. So it looks like this might be a GG's. Oh yeah, he's spinning in a circle. He got disconnected. Therefore, this game is over. I hope you can take some of the advice that I gave. If you do have any questions, just let me know. I'm always happy to help. Other than that, first time playing against HAVOK. Really, really happy to see that you had some good moments. All in all, though, the good I will definitely say is you have some good patterns, such as you're constantly on P4, pushing out L, holding middle, holding the semi lane, and then whenever the enemies are front, you're pinching and you're getting nice 2 pieces, 3 pieces. Great job. Keep doing that habit. It's working great for you. During P1, you're heavily focused on the P1 spawns. Excellent work. Keep doing that. P3, whenever you're rotating for the P3 spawns, you're doing a great job. Keep doing that. Now, the bad. What is the bad about this game? P3, we're not playing enough time for P3, where you're playing middle and you're trying to look for kills. But, dude, if we don't have the spawns and we don't have the time, just try to get the time at least. Then we can rotate and play for the spawns. If we do have the spawns and they're on the hard point, but we have like 2 dead, just fly at the hard point. Try to get that P3 time whenever possible. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is there's so many moments where you are finding yourself rotated in a great position, cutting a lane, and then for no reason at all, you try to push out and you get a bad timing. When literally all you have to do is just sit in the corner, sit in the head glitch, let the enemy come to you, you win that gunfight, you now can guarantee some of the OBJ time. So we're gonna have to get better on that timings. But please, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm always happy to help. Thank you everyone for watching. If you're interested in coaching, check it out in the description below. Other than that, I'll see you guys for Black Ops 7. Thank you so much and peace.